welcome to another podcast. My name is Ben Lister. Welcome along to another podcast. It's 2022 now, and welcome along to episode 26 of the Ben Lister Podcast Radio Show here on Hull Kingston Radio 107.4 FM. It's been a while. How are you all doing? How are you all today? Right, the aim of this series is to chat to the great and good of the radio and entertainment community, which is brilliant. If the last 25 episodes are anything to go by, this one's going to be a cracker. And today's guest is an icon, and it's a hero of man and a legend of radio. He's been at Radio Aire, Red Rose, Talk Radio, LBC, all the big stations, and he was also a member of the BBC, and now he's back on Talk Radio as a late night host, and it's a pleasure, it's an honour, it's a hero of man, it's the one, the only, Mr. James Whale. Hello, James, welcome along.
Hello, Ben, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. You're a hero of man. Thank you for doing this.
My pleasure.
That's good. 6 questions about your broadcast career, if that's okay.
Okay, you start.
Okay, you are. Okay, let's go for it. Question 1, you ready to rumble in the jungle?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Question 1, where did you start your broadcast career?
Okay, well, it rather depends what you call broadcasting. Back in the 70s, in 1970, I set up something called Radio Topshop. Now, some other people will actually question that, but it was me that actually came up with the idea. The man who ran the Topshop in Oxford Circus in London was called Ralph Halpin. In his day, he was quite famous for things I won't tell you about. And I was in the shop one day and I thought, well, it's like a disco. They need a DJ. And I was a DJ in nightclubs at the time, and I found the manager, and I suggested we have a DJ in there. And then I was there for a few years, and eventually we had our own little radio studio built. So as it was only just round the corner from Radio 1, I thought I'd be discovered and I'd be on Radio 1 before I knew where I was. But that didn't happen. But I did get into the first lot of commercial radio stations. In 1974, I got a job on Metro Radio, which was the commercial station in Newcastle upon Tyne, bearing in mind I'd never been further north than Watford. So that was quite interesting. And I went up there for 3 months and I stayed for nearly 10 years.
Wow, what a way to start your career, your brilliantly glittering career. And also, yeah, the Radio Aire times as well, because I was told by a lot of people you were a legend on your late night show on Radio Aire.
I don't know whether the term legend is right, but I've been doing the job for nearly 50 years, since I was 22, I think. But I did Metro Radio, and I became quite well known. And by the age of 28 or 29, I think, I thought I should do something more serious, which was a stupid mistake. But anyway, I decided I would leave Metro after having turned the late night show, which I've always done primarily, into a bit of a cult thing. I'm being voted the rudest man on radio in the country in 1976, I think. Then I decided to change completely, got a job with BBC Radio Derby, went there and absolutely hated it. It was the worst experience of my broadcasting life. So I used to leave there. I did the mid-morning show, dull, gosh, so dull. And then I went off and did voiceovers on commercials for commercial radio stations. And I was doing some commercials in Leeds in a news station called Radio Aire. And I'd been doing these commercials, and the boss popped in and said, how do you fancy coming back to commercial radio and doing your late night show again? And that's how I got back into it.
Wow, what a career. And yeah, wow. Yeah, I've been following you for quite a while because I started listening to talk radio and I became a fan of you, and then I did a bit of research about you, and you know, and that's how I learned about you, because loads of different guests of mine have told loads of good stories about you back in the day, about the
more.
Yeah. And you were also on talk radio as well, the original talk radio.
Yeah, well, in the 90s, I left radio and went into TV. And I had a TV show. I think you're too young to remember, but I had a late night TV show where I was well known for being rude to people. I find that difficult to believe, but and also for having very sexy women on it. And I did that for, I suppose, nearly 10 years. ITV, 1 o'clock in the morning on a Friday, had huge audience. Today, because there's so many other TV stations, you don't get that sort of audience. We had 3 or 4 million people watching us at 1 o'clock in the morning. And then this new radio station, Talk Radio, came on air in about 1996. What was it? When was it?
1995, I think.
Blimey, okay. Well, 1995, and I thought I'll go along and get a job on Talk Radio. But I went along, and the people there were very rude to me. And they said, "No, we're not looking for TV celebrities. We're looking for radio people." And I thought, what an arsehole. So I said to the bloke, "Okay, well, I have been on radio for 15 or 16 years by then." And I got really cross with the guy, and I have to admit, I said, "Well, I'll tell you what, you won't last in this job very long, and when you've gone, I'll come back." So I went back to TV for another year, and as I predicted, the people who were running the original Talk Radio all got kicked out, and somebody I knew took over as the boss and rang me and said, "Do you want to come and work here?" And I said, "Absolutely," because I wanted to go back into radio. Funny enough, I've always enjoyed doing both, but now I've ended up doing radio and TV together again, because in the late 1980s, my radio show became the TV show, if you see what I mean. In fact, the first series was called the James Whale Radio Show, but it was on TV. So that's how we got there. I'm not really sure where we are now. And then I got back to radio, Talk Radio. And I think I didn't join it till 1996. All right, girls. Thank you. I'm here. Anyway, I'm just prattling on. You carry on.
Yeah, and it's an honour. Wow. Yeah. And also.
No more wows, Brian, please. Ben, beg your pardon. I'm dyslexic, by the way. And I get names confused.
My heart rate's very high because I've done my research, and you're quite a legend in these parts of Yorkshire.
Where are you?
Hull.
Oh, Hull, yeah. I did a programme in Hull on prostitution. Very entertaining.
Yeah, and that's how I know Carl Kingston. You see, our mutual friend, Mr. Carl Kingston, because he did a bit of radio work around here, and he's from Hull as well.
Yep, you're right. He is. I haven't seen him for years. Hope he's okay.
Yeah. I was joking with him that he should get you a guest on his show sometime.
I don't think he can afford me, Ben.
Nice. Question 2 now. Who were your inspirations in broadcasting when you were starting out?
I suppose when I was starting out, Johnny Walker, who I think is still around, and a legendary DJ called Tony Windsor, whose catchline was "Hello," and he was a brilliant broadcaster. But that was in the day of just playing records. And when I started out on the radio, I was a DJ, played records, and I realized I just liked prattling on. And so they just invented the phone-in kit that people could phone in and they could put them on the radio. Now, of course, you could phone in and you can put visuals on the radio as well, which is brilliant. And so I said to the boss at the time, "I'm going to take phone calls. Do you mind?" He said, "We don't care what you do, because nobody really listens after 6 o'clock in the evening," which was rubbish. But there we are.
Wow. What a brilliant time in radio it was then. And yeah, and there's you. There's Scotty McClue, I think, who does the phone in as well.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's you who does the phone in late at night on Talk Radio, because the phone in's brilliant, a brilliant format of radio.
Yeah.
And it's still going strong after so many years, and yeah, and yeah, sorry, I'm quite nervous today, sorry.
Well, don't be. Just, just ask away. Whatever you want to know, just
Question
ask away.
3. Now, what is your favourite part about the job of being a broadcaster?
I don't have a favourite part. I just like I just like it. Don't ask me why. I have no idea. But I am not what people refer to as an anorak. So I tend not to hang out with people who do the same job. I'm not. I probably don't know as much about radio as you. I just like doing the job. I'm not one of these people obsessed with listening to lots of different radio stations and reading magazines about radio and stuff like that. I don't do any of that. I just like doing the job, and that's it.
You just like to crack on.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Question 4 now. This is the COVID question. How has the pandemic, COVID, affected your life and line of work?
Well, it hasn't really. I do my show mostly from home because it's easier, and because I have cancer. They've been very good to me, the owners of Talk Radio. They've been remarkable, in fact. And so they said, you do the program from home, so you don't have to come in contact with anybody. But I do go in from time to time. I go into London at least once or twice a month.
Brilliant. Wow. And question 5 now. What is your greatest achievement in your career?
Oh gosh, I don't even look upon it as a career. People talk about careers. I've never had a career. Nothing. All right, Daisy. Thank you, Daisy. Thank you. Daisy. I have. Excuse me, Daisy. Come here. She doesn't like me talking about myself. I've forgotten the question now. What was the question?
Your greatest achievement.
Oh, right, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you what my greatest achievement is. Having been employed in a job where a lot of people come and go very quickly for 50 years.
Yeah.
And my ambition, I'll tell you what my ambition is, whether I achieve it or not, I don't know, is I'm terminally ill. I look okay, feel okay at the moment. But I would like to be able to do, Daisy, I'd like to be able to do another 2 years and reach 50 years, because I think I'm at 48 years on the air.
Well done, sir.
So I'd like to reach 50. I think that would be good.
Well,
but it's people take this sort of job far too seriously. They're so far up themselves, if you'll excuse the expression, that it annoys me intensely.
Yeah. Last question on my list is, we'll do a picture afterwards, if that's all right, a quick picture for the social media. What advice would you give to young aspiring broadcasters who are starting out?
Don't go to university and do a media course.
Brilliant. That's it for today.
Go to the radio station and find out who the boss is and ask if you can go and hang out and watch. And also there are lots of people on radio stations who've built themselves little empires and really don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. That's it for today.
And now you can start your own radio station anywhere you like, as you have.
I do my own
podcast. Do a podcast, get it on Spotify, get loads of followers and make a fortune.
Brilliant. That's it for today. Thank you for joining us here on Hull Kingston Radio 107.4 FM. Do join me again soon. Thank you to my guest, Mr. James Whale. Thank you for joining me today. Thanks you guys for joining me today. Right, that's it. Please give it up one more time for the iconic and cult figure we know as that Mr. Late Night, Mr. James Whale. Thank you very much for watching. This will be available on my YouTube channel and it will go out on Hull Kingston Radio. But for the something 100 and somethings time this year, that's a wrap.